First of all, I'd like to thank our staff and everybody that put this tournament on. It's a lot of work goes on behind the scenes, and to our crowd coming out and supporting us in the hot conditions. So that was just what we needed. Obviously, very pleased to be coming through the regional with a 3-0 record, and congratulations to UCF on their performance throughout the year. Played very well. Of course, Michigan winning the Big 12 championship, Big 10 championship, and Eastern Illinois for their the way they came out and played in their first. I think it was their first regional. So congratulations to them as well. But I think there was some really good softball played this weekend, and we're looking forward to the super regionals coming up.
Okay, first question, since you have the mic, or a mic. Yeah.
Reese, did you feel like you were due since you flied out twice? Just talk about this groove that you're in.
Yeah, I think adjustments was a big thing we talked about coming into this week. So these games, we're definitely trying to prepare and just make adjustments in the game. And I think that's what I did today, was trying to stay on top of the ball. They had a pretty good rise ball pitcher, so that's what I was trying to do, is stay on top.
AP in the back.
Yeah, and then Tegan, kind of a similar question for you. I know the end of the season has been a little bit tougher. Today you looked a little bit more in your element. Why exactly is that? What has kind of changed, if anything?
Yeah, I think just staying with the process. There's gonna be ups and downs in season, and I've kind of been on a down and not been pitching how I wanted to, and so it was good to have that game and good to bring that going forward, because it was good to see that. I mean, and for the team, it was good to play a big team win today. So I think I'll use that going forward, and definitely helpful.
Tegan, obviously 7 innings pitched, 0 runs given up. That's a good day, but do you still feel like there's another level that you can reach?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think there's always areas to improve, and I'm sure we'll go into practice and pick apart some things and just find ways to get better, because we're just gonna have to keep getting better to keep winning ball games.
Cliff in the back.
This question for Reese. How important was it for you guys to not only come out and win 3 games, but to win in the dominating fashion, at least on the scoreboard, that you did?
Yeah, it's definitely good coming into Super Regionals next week against a good team to kind of have this weekend of a little bit of a confidence boost for everyone. I mean, 1 through 9, all of our pinch hitters, I think everybody just did their jobs this weekend. It was great to see that it was everyone, and I think that's going to prepare us and make us more ready for postseason.
Okay. Same thing. Tegan, we talked to Coach leading up to this matchup, and he was really high on you having some rest and you being prepared for this moment. How beneficial was it for you to have the amount of rest that you had over the last couple of games?
Yeah, I think it was great. I think all of our pitchers are doing really well right now, and so it's good to see them be big and step up in big moments, and it's going to take all of us, and so it's good to see. Especially big props to Sophia Simpson. She looks incredible. And so just to see all of us together working, we're stronger together. And so that's good. It's good for me. It's good for the whole team.
I think I asked Katie this yesterday, but not having to really worry about, do you feel like you don't have to worry as much when you're in the ring because of how explosive the bats have been recently?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's hard to lose a ball game when we're putting up that many runs. So it's definitely a weight off our shoulders.
Yeah, question for Reese. You had 13 RBI this weekend. I think that's the most by a Texas player in a regional ever. Did you have any feeling coming into this weekend during batting practice or something that you were going to be on in the way that you were?
I think just coming off of the SEC loss, it was just like a full team mindset of like, we have to be better, we have to change. And I think that's what ultimately led to this weekend's offense. So it was a big thing, and it was just the mindset adjustment coming in of confidence, attack, just being ready, being on time was the biggest thing. It's just not going up there timid, just taking our swings because we have all the talent. So ultimately that's what led to this weekend's offense performance.
Okay, did you have something quick? Okay, sorry. I saw him.
Are you like swinging angry? I mean, you're like a damn force up there. What? Can you kind of go into that? I mean, you feel like nobody can get you out?
I think my biggest physical adjustment this week was more just being relaxed. Sometimes I like to tense up and try to do too much, and this weekend I just loosened up my hands. Wanted to kind of try to think middle of the field and just loosen up my whole body, just trust my instincts, trust my preparation throughout the week.
We'll go to the back of the last few for Tegan and Reese.
Here's my last one, Reese. As far as this being a lengthy tournament for you, for any team really, throughout this postseason, but how pivotal is it to not take a pitch off, not to get relaxed, and to just stay full force because you don't want to have any really avoid the low points as as you go deeper into the postseason?
That's huge, especially coming up for super regionals. It's win or go home, so we can't take any pitches off. And again, that goes back to this week's preparation coming into regionals and next week's preparation going into super regional. It's a mindset thing. We talked this week about practice is 90% physical and 10% mental, and then game is 10% physical and 90% mental. So that was the mindset that we adopted as a team. So we're going to stick to that and not take any pitches off. I mean, you can't fix your swing this time of season, so it's good to see that everyone's on, but it's all coming from our mindset.
Eric, do you have anything for Reese or Tegan?
Yeah, just first for Reese, what did you see there on the pitch from Vega there and facing her and that when you took her deep?
Vega's the first one. Yeah, Vega, the UCF pitcher, I mean, she was great. She had a really good rise ball that messed me up the first 2 at-bats, I believe, but I think it was just the adjustment to stay on top of the ball, but I think it had a lot of lift on it, so it was just making those in-game adjustments.
Of the 2 home runs, was there one that you felt like, oh, I got all of that one more so than the other?
Yeah, the second one I got all of it. The first one kind of jammed me a little bit.
Tegan, how important was it with the experience you had to jump on a team like them? They have so many freshmen and sophomores. To have it jump on them early after them, just what they went through yesterday.
Oh yeah, it's big. I mean, we always talk about wanting to score first and kind of put them away early to just get some momentum on our side. So it's big. I think it's hard to lose a game that way, and it just keeps the pressure on our side, and it helps us apply pressure, and that helps us to win the game. So very beneficial.
Awesome. Thanks, Tegan and Reese.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Reese, did you touch serve?
I did. I did. I wasn't sure at first, but I got put on it.
Tegan, I hope your dog's doing well.
Oh yes, she's doing amazing. I miss her. We'll see her hopefully after we win the whole thing.
I may bring Hank tomorrow or Tuesday.
All right, we'll start with, I know Caleb's got a question. Yeah, we'll start with Caleb for coach, and go.
Yeah, Coach. After Tegan struggled yesterday at Michigan, what are your thoughts on today's performance? Were you satisfied, or do you think there was definitely something there she can still reach for?
Well, I think she was in command of her pitches a little bit better today. There was some patches there where it was like, oh my gosh, we're going 3-0 again, we're going 3-0 again. But it's hard to know what's going through their minds in those situations. But she was able to battle through it, and I think she kept her composure like she always does, but even more so today, and bounced back and got the pitch and the pitches, and then we made the plays we had to make behind her. But to get a shutout out of her in this regional at this time, and to actually throw a number, I think close to 100 pitches, maybe just a little bit over, it was big because she needed the work, really, to tell you the truth.
Cliff in the back.
And Mike, I'll ask you what I asked Reese a minute ago. Just your thoughts on not only finishing this, 3 games in 3 games, but having 3, at least on the scoreboard, dominating wins. How important do you think it was for this group? And do you, as their head coach, kind of feel like maybe some of the late season, scuffling or whatever that we saw at the end of the regular season is behind this group?
Yeah, we always tell them that there's never going to be a straight line. There's always going to be some valleys, dips and valleys, and just don't get too high, don't get too low. And I think at the stage there, we were kind of hitting a low spot towards the end of the season. And fortunately, we were able to regroup. We did a lot of, Reese talked about the mental side of things and just our attitude. We couldn't really change any more of the swings. They're taking a ton of swings. They're taking a lot of that, but it's more what's going on between your ears than anything else. And so just regrouping, resetting, and coming out with that attack mindset, and really getting some production from the bottom half of the lineup was huge for us this weekend.
AP in the back.
Yeah, Mia Scott hit her 300th career hit, new record for doubles with her 56th double. I mean, just talk about how difficult it is to reach those milestones.
Well, yeah, I mean, one thing you've got to stay is relatively injury-free, and that can be difficult when you're playing that many games and playing at the level she plays. She plays hard, and she's been doing it pretty banged up, actually, to tell you the truth. I won't go into those details, but She's a gamer. She comes out there and performs for us to the best of her ability. And just it's it wasn't a screaming double to get the record, but it worked, and she was heads up to be able to take that extra base.
Caleb, right here, front, right.
Coach, how close were you to pulling Tegan and going to the bullpen? Was that ever on your mind, or did you really want her to finish the game?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about it in the fifth and sixth. Actually, I think it was the end of the fifth. I was thinking about possibly making a change, but like I said, just rethinking it, and I think she needed the work. If we kept pulling the plug, pretty early, when's she going to get those number of pitches in, which we may need this week, against Clemson.
We got Kurt right here left.
What's been the issue with Tegan? I mean, the last 4 or 5 starts, she hasn't been Tegan good, obviously.
Yeah.
Is some of that technical, I assume?
Well, the game's about inches, and she's been missing, getting behind just by inches. I mean, like when I talked to her, I said, this is not a control problem. The control problem is when you're just all over the place.
Yeah.
But when you're just missing by inches, it can be a confidence. It could be, there's 3 areas of problem pitching, and one of them is trying to be a perfect pitcher, trying to throw that perfect strike and perfect pitch in the perfect situation. And, you can't do that. You've got to trust that, even your mistakes are going to be good enough. So just resetting that and then understanding the way her ball is moving, just understanding the break on it, where it's not really coming back over the plate like we want on the inside half to right-handers. So just allowing for that little more break that's going the other way, a little tail.
Did she throw a lot more changeups this year?
In patches at times.
I think it's been effective.
It's very effective. If you look at the batting average against, it's in the mid 100s. So it's actually her most effective pitch by batting average against.
Yeah. And do you feel like y'all regained your mojo?
Well, you sure hope so. I mean, I'm not going to change anything or break it, but it's going to be up to what happens this week. This game's about momentum, and we have some momentum right now. We just got to keep it and just keep attacking. I mean, it's win or go home. So, you don't want to be that team that's going to play your last game here on this field. We're going to play our last games in OKC. That's our goal.
And how would you assess Clemson?
I haven't really looked at them, to tell you the truth. I was more focused on this regional, but, they're always tough. They're well coached. John Rittman does a great job. Their pitching's always good. I think they, it's between them and Florida State for the ACC all the time, typically, and, they're dangerous. But I think we played them maybe 2 years ago, and we were fortunate to, I think it was the first game of the year, I think we played them. 22. Yeah, so we don't have a lot of history against them. But just, watching them and how they play, they're good.
And lastly, how much fun is it to watch Reese?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, when she gets the bat on the ball, it goes, for sure. I mean, like even the one she had out, the first one was fisted, so, I mean, when you have that kind of power, that's pretty cool. But there's certain people you pay money to go play, to watch play, and, Reese is one of those, and, Mia Scott, obviously, those kids are electric.
There's a lot of talk about mindset. They're saying change of a mindset heading into the regionals, into the tournament. What is the right mindset to have, and what would you consider to be the right mindset heading into this super regional against Clemson?
Well, I think a lot goes into the right mindset. A lot of it's about confidence, believing in yourself. Where do you get confidence from? You get it from the practice area and that you've done it before, and we've done it before. So, a lot of it is making highlight tapes of your performance and watching those and, and trusting in it, and then not trying to do too much. There's a whole list of things we go over, to help them with that kind of mindset. And you want to be the attacker, not the be on the defensive.
We got one in the back, and then we'll go to Eric to close it out.
Coach, a lot of times in sports, success can kind of come from repetition and being in uncomfortable situations. What situations and what repetitions will you all take now, knowing that you have a chance to advance again, and what repetitions are you going to put into place?
Well, I think a lot of that comes from the losses you've had. I mean, I think we learn more from the losses than we do from the wins. But we always review on Mondays or Tuesdays when we first come in all the plays from the weekend that we could have done better, and the highlights too. It's not all about just trying to improve. It's like, what are we doing well? What do we need to work on? What areas we need to work on? And like they said, it's 90% mental. When you get into the games, I mean, obviously there's a lot of repetitions. You want to get that confidence and repetitions through practice. So we make that challenging. We face our own pitches. There's a lot of stuff we do to try and get ourselves prepped up and ready.
Eric, you got anything for Coach?
Yeah, did you feel that your experience today really was a big advantage there against them? They have a lot of freshmen and sophomores that haven't been in this situation. Or do you think it was more about them playing the 2 games yesterday and you jumping on them?
Well, I think it's a combination of all that. I mean, obviously you can't, I've talked about, you can't practice being in front of 10,000 people in a College World Series. You got to be there and you got to experience it to be able to get that kind of feeling, for sure. But they do have a young team. I noticed that. So they did a really good job. They were dangerous. Looking at their tape, 1 through 6, 1 through 7, and even the bottom half there got a number of hits at times. And then their pitching staff. Vega. Real low ERA, and like the lady said, she got 10+ inches of break on a rise ball, which is really good, and then throws a paralyzing changeup. So that can get you in trouble a lot if you're not disciplined. And we weren't disciplined early. Fortunately, Leanne was able to get a hold of a rise ball and knock it out. So it was a combination of both of those. I mean, obviously we wouldn't want to play extra games in this heat. So.
This weekend taking over now to next week?
I think being a little more aggressive on some of the plays, lead runners. I think that we kind of didn't take opportunities there a couple of games. Obviously, I think some short games we did pretty good there. I mean, we base running have some little snafus or little gaffes there. Some stuff we got to do there as well, but just what we usually work on, really.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Coach.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you all.